welcome. So I'm going to offer a Yin Yoga practice here, and again I'm recording this coming up on the first week of, in the first week of November 2024. I'll be out of town starting tomorrow, Monday, and leaving this video primarily for people in my Yin Yoga classes, since I won't be teaching live this week. But anybody else is also welcome to use this and practice with it if you want to. And in my live online classes, I've been talking about the yamas and niyamas of yoga for a number of weeks. The yamas being the things that we practice doing less of, sometimes called the restraints. And the niyamas being the things that we practice doing more of, habits that we're trying to strengthen, kind of ethical guidelines for living, yamas and niyamas. And I started a couple weeks ago talking about the niyamas, and they are also a little more inward focused. The yamas are a little more about how to live well with other beings as well as with ourselves. And so the first of the niyamas was saucha or shaucha, pronounced differently by different people. And it's about cleansing and purifying. Last week I was talking about santosha in classes, which is cultivating contentment, which is can be challenging in times like these, but it's a thing to be aware of and to work with. Santosha. And then this week, the niyama, the third of the niyamas, is tapas, which is translates from Sanskrit pretty directly to mean heat. And it's the idea of having a dedicated practice or an ongoing, continuing practice, whether that's meditation or the postures of a hatha yoga or yin yoga practice or other things that, kind of the developing of habits with practice over time and creating a certain kind of heat to burn away the debris in our minds and hearts and bodies. So that's the idea of tapas. And later in this practice, I'll read a quote from Pema Chodron, Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron, that I like in terms of thinking about tapas. So for this Yin Yoga practice, you could start from standing or sitting on the ground. Mostly, in a Yin practice, we're working mostly down on the ground, working with the process or exploring the process of releasing our muscles in different asanas or positions for longer periods of time. So 1.5 to 3 minutes in this session. But I'll start with about 15 minutes of movement, and you're welcome to do that from standing or sitting. And the movement is meant to kind of wake up awareness of each area of your body before coming into the longer stillness of the yin asanas. So again, you could start from standing or sitting. You might take a moment or two to feel your body in contact with the ground. Maybe shifting a little, seeing where and how you feel fairly centered, balanced, forward and back, side to side. If you're sitting on the ground, you might see if you can release the muscles in your legs, let them get maybe a little heavier on the ground. Sitting or standing, you might see if you can feel your pelvis fairly level to the ground, and you could think of it like a level bowl that's not tipping forward or back too much or side to side. So creating that feeling of levelness possibly. From there, you might stretch your tailbone downward slightly, lift up along your spine. Notice how that feels. And if you're thinking if your pelvis is level to the ground, sitting or standing, you could see if you can feel your upper body fairly vertical, also without tipping to the back a lot or to the front or side to side. And notice Notice how that feels. If you want to, you could roll your shoulders to the back and down, or bend your elbows, take your forearms out to the sides and down. Two different ways to kind of place your shoulder blades slightly together and down in the back. Breathing. You might see if you can feel your ears over your shoulders and maybe pressing the back of your head upwards. Your eyes could be open or closed, your choice. So you might take a few breaths where you see if you can feel that sense of length along your spine. Maybe feeling your whole torso expand as you breathe in and release as you breathe out. Maybe with an awareness of expanding along your back and sides and front as you breathe in. Releasing back towards the center as you breathe out. And I'll just say here, you're welcome to focus your attention on your breathing when that feels helpful or appealing to you. And as with everything I'll offer in this session, if it's not what your body or your mind needs, hopefully you can do a different thing. Mainly I want to hold space for you to explore a yoga practice here and explore what works for you today in this moment. So it could be focusing on your breathing at times, could be feeling the ground beneath you. As much as you feel ready and able to, maybe centering your attention in your body and in what you can feel in your body, maybe with your breathing, maybe in the various asanas or positions that we come into, and with movement. If you'd like to add in some movement here, one possibility would be to breathe in, stretch out your arms, and exhale and come back to your heart. Something like this. Another possibility might be bringing your arms out to the sides and up, and possibly with your palms facing downwards on the exhalations. So often in yoga, you might bring your palms together. And if you like that, you could do it this way. Often with a yin practice, it might be a movement more like this. So even here, you can choose how you'd like to have these movements and noticing how they feel for you. You might continue movements like these for as long as you like. At some point, if you want to, maybe giving some attention to what you can feel in your face. You might see if you feel like stretching out your jaws. Maybe opening your eyes widely and circling them. Could be one way to release tension in your face. Massaging or tapping your face. And you're welcome to stay with your face as long as you like, and then when you feel ready to, maybe give your attention to your hairline a little bit, see how that feels. You come up and feel your scalp with your fingertips, or maybe your knuckles, or the palms of your hands. So with each area I mention, again, you're welcome to see what appeals to you. Giving some attention to your scalp and your head, and then maybe coming down and feeling where your head and neck meet up. You might massage there, or lift the base of your head if you like that. And you could come down, maybe continuing to massage your neck, or anytime you like, you could explore moving your neck. And some possible movements would be something like this, extending as you lift, flexing as you lower your chin, feeling that, moving at your own pace, breathing. rotate a little bit if you like. And maybe side flex, lifting one ear, lifting the other ear, feeling that. And you could continue to move your neck, or you might go to something like this, or maybe this. If you'd rather, you could take your chin down towards your collarbone. Maybe with your head to one side, taking a few breaths and releasing where you feel ready to. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then if you like, you might go to the other side. And again, you could side flex like this, or take your chin down towards your collarbone, or side flex this way. And breathe and release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back to the middle, maybe a little movement. If you like, possibly then dropping your chin towards your chest and breathing and releasing here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then you might come up, maybe see if there's a little more movement you'd like for your neck. Something like this would be one more possibility. Breathing, feeling your neck. Coming back to the center when you're ready to. And here you could go to your shoulders if you like. One possibility would be to breathe in and squeeze your shoulders, breathe out and release them. So I'm going to do a few of those with this practice. If you'd rather not squeeze and release, you could go into circling your shoulders or other stretches for your shoulders. If you like squeezing and releasing, you might breathe in, squeeze, tense the muscles in your shoulders, breathe out and release. Maybe one more time. If you like, you could push your shoulders down, feel that, and release. Maybe breathing in, pushing your shoulders downwards. Maybe exhaling to release. Maybe one more time. Another possibility would be bringing your shoulders forward and squeezing and contracting the muscles in your shoulders here. And releasing. And then maybe pushing your shoulder blades together in the back. And releasing. You might come forward with the other arm on top, squeeze. And release. Push together in the back, squeezing and releasing. And from there, you might circle your shoulders if you want, see how that feels. Possibly giving some attention to each shoulder individually if you want to, or you could move both shoulders if that feels better to you. And you might choose the movements that feel like a good fit for your shoulder or shoulders here. Breathing and moving at your own pace. Maybe something like this. If you're sitting on the ground, this could be an arcing motion, or you could take your hand out to the side and circle if you'd rather. And maybe taking your arm out to the side and up, and then reaching across and feeling that. If you did that on one side, possibly doing it on the other side, maybe circling your elbow with your fingers on your shoulder. You might circle a few times with your hand lifted if you like. Feel that. Maybe straightening your arm and reaching. And again, this could be an arcing motion, or you could take your hand out to the side and create more of a circle here if you like. And maybe taking your arm out to the side and up, and then reaching across, feeling that. And then you might maybe circle both elbows a few times in one direction and the other if you like. Maybe pedaling a little bit here. going one way and the other. And if you like, maybe some circles where you reach towards the opposite sides. And then from there, if you like, you might give some attention to your hands. So you could continue with your shoulders if you want to, if they want more attention, or you might go on to your hands. I'm noticing that sitting like this, it's time for me to switch which leg is in front. So that's another thing you could do if you want. So maybe extending and flexing your fingers, stretching and squeezing them a little. Maybe bringing each finger to your thumbs. You could massage your hands if you like. Maybe you're giving a little attention to each thumb and each finger with some compression. Seeing how that feels today. Breathing. Massage the palms and backs of your hands. And maybe come down and massage your wrists and forearms if you like, a little bit. From there, if you want, you could squeeze your upper arms. I like to do it with one arm in front and then the other. And you might feel like you want to stay with more of that compression and massage, or if you feel ready to, you could go to some hand stretches of your choice. Maybe continuing to feel into your hands and arms a little longer here. Possibly some pushing and pulling movements. If you're doing these, you can stay upright, vertical with your torso, or you can lean in and maybe push until you feel a stretch, pull back until you feel some squeezing between your shoulder blades. A few movements pushing one arm forward and one arm back. You might push up and pull down and back if you like. Noticing how that feels for your arms and hands and shoulders, maybe for your back. And maybe breathing in at your heart, breathing out, pushing to the sides. Fingers up, maybe fingers down. And then from there, I'm going to go on into torso movements. You're welcome to continue with your hands and arms if you want to. One way you might start to feel into your torso could be something like this, a little circling. If you're circling, you can make those circles the size that you like, moving at your own pace. At some point, if you're standing, you could circle your hips, keeping your head in one place. Maybe going to arcing your back into a back bend and then flexing forward. So this is a place where you could also work with squeezing and releasing. You could find a back bend, squeeze the muscles of your back, and then maybe release to upright. Maybe doing that a few times, squeezing and releasing. If you don't like the squeezing and releasing, you can go right into, arcing and flexing. Otherwise, I'm going to do one more here, squeezing and releasing. And then possibly leaning forward, squeezing along your front, squeezing the muscles where you can, and releasing. Possibly breathing in as you squeeze and contract your muscles, breathing out as you release. And you could continue with squeezing and releasing, or you might go more towards stretching, maybe with a movement like this. Maybe cactus arms and then holding your shoulders as you flex. Again, you might notice how your body is responding. See if you want more of this back bending and then flexing, you could continue like that. Or as you feel ready, you might go side to side. And with this practice, again, I'm going to squeeze along one side and release. Squeeze all along this side and release. You don't don't have to do that. You could go right into stretching along your sides. So I'm breathing in to squeeze, breathing out to release. And again, this is one way to develop awareness of these muscles and also release chronic tension. Anytime you like, you might let go of squeezing the muscles and go more towards stretching them. Maybe something like this, maybe something like this. Possibly reaching. And if you like, you might take both arms up, press to one side, press to the other side, and feel that. And then from here, if you want to, you could turn your chest to one side and the other, and maybe go into some twists. We'll be doing some twists in the Yin practice in a little bit when we slow things down. But you could go to a twist and stay there, for maybe 4 or 5 breaths on one side and the other. Or you could take a few moving twists, maybe something like this. Maybe something where you breathe in and reach, and breathe out and turn. Again, giving your attention, if you can, to where you're feeling these movements. And then coming back to center when you're ready to. Here I'm going to lie down, move and feel hips, knees, ankles, and feet just for a couple of minutes, and we'll go into our Yin practice. So if you want to, you might lie on your back and maybe straighten one leg. If you'd rather do this part from standing, you could stand on one leg. And then move and feel into one hip joint. So it could be some circling if you're lying down, maybe with your knee mostly bent. If you like how it feels, you could explore straightening your leg a little more. So finding a little movement to feel into your hip joint and wake up awareness all around that area. And then when you're ready, you might bend and extend your knee. And you could do this if you're lying down with your leg going towards the ceiling. You could also do it more like this, gliding your foot along the ground. Or you might take your leg out to the side. So helping the circulation through your knee, waking up awareness of your leg, and then moving and feeling your ankle a bit. Moving and feeling your toes, maybe squeezing and stretching them out. Now, if you want to, you could take a moment to massage and stretch your foot using your hands. You may be able to do this from standing or not. Here, I'm just going to massage the toes, my toes. You can massage your toes if you want to, or the sole of your foot. Another possibility is to put your fingers between your toes, if that works for you, and circle here. Feel that. And then when you're ready, you might take that leg to the ground and move and feel into your other hip joint a bit here. So circling one way and the other. And keep your knee bent. Again, if you're lying down, you could also explore straightening your knee a bit if you want to. And then eventually go to flexing and extending at the knee. Maybe towards the ceiling, maybe along the ground like this, or out to the side, or a little of each if you want to. So feeling into your knee and the muscles of your leg. And then when you're ready, you might move and feel your ankle. And move and feel your toes, squeezing them, stretching them out. And then again, if you want to, if it works for you, you could use your hands to give a little more attention to your foot, maybe massaging your toes, sole of your foot. If you like, possibly putting your fingers between your toes and maybe circling here and feeling that. And then when you're ready, come back here. Take any other movements you'd like, and then we'll go into our Yin Yoga practice. So I'm going to roll to the side, come up, and as we come into our Yin practice, I'm going to fix my hair. Try to. Could be a challenge. And suggest that maybe, if you like, you might start with something like this, with a butterfly position. For some people, just get my yoga blocks here. For some people, coming into butterfly, it could be that your knees are up like this, and it might feel supportive to put some blocks underneath so that you can just release your muscles and not feel like you have to hold things up. Some people like a little support there. You could also, if it works for you, if you're in a sitting butterfly, let me think of what I need to say here. So coming into a sitting butterfly, in a Yin practice, you could have your heels up close towards your torso, or you could take them out further. You could sit upright, or lean forward with a mostly lengthened spine, or round your spine here. So you might explore, as I'm inviting you into these various Yin postures, you might explore a couple of possibilities and see if your body responds more to one than the other. You could do a butterfly here with your legs up the wall. I'm not going to demonstrate it here, but I have in classes. You could also lie on your back with your feet in butterfly if you like. So this is an opportunity for a 3-minute practice. You can come out sooner. You can stay longer. Those are always possibilities here. I'm going to have to just come forward here. A timer. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So as you come into your butterfly again, if you're sitting, you could lean forward, straight spine. You could stay upright. You could round your spine if you want. And whichever version feels appealing to you or that you're choosing, you might take a few breaths and travel your attention through your whole body. See if there's anything you want to shift or adjust. I kind of naturally came into this holding my toes with my hands, but other possibilities would be taking your hands forward or arms along your back, like this. When you have a position where you'd like to stay, you might slow your breathing a little. Possibly coming back to a sense of letting your whole torso expand as you breathe in, to the back and sides and front. And then maybe releasing as you breathe out. So generally in a Yin Yoga practice, we're not pulling ourselves into a position, right? It's more a process of developing the awareness of where your muscles might be holding some tension and beginning to release where that feels possible. Sometimes it can be helpful to squeeze and release muscles, even in a Yin asana. You might do that. You might use the awareness of your breathing, releasing, maybe especially on the exhalations. And again, if you like, giving your attention to your breathing, it could be that sense of expanding on the inhalations and releasing on the exhalations. You could also explore a sense of lengthening your spine as you breathe in and releasing as you breathe out. Again, as much as you feel ready and able to, giving your attention to what you're feeling in your body here. Maybe the feeling of compression against the ground, or one part of your body compressing against another. Maybe feeling the movements of your breathing. Maybe feeling your muscles releasing and your position slowly changing. And that's been just a little over 3 minutes. If you feel ready to come out, you might come out kind of slowly and then see what kind of movement your body might like. So you don't have to move in between one yin asana position and another. I generally do. I like to get circulation going again. Some people prefer to go from stillness in one position to stillness in another position. So you could do it that way if you'd rather. Here, I'm going to suggest going to an asana 2 minutes on one side and 2 minutes on the other. So if you were in butterfly, that was abduction, legs coming out to the sides. Here's an opportunity to go towards adduction, coming towards the center line or across it. If you stretch out one leg, bring the other knee over it. In a yin practice, this is called half shoelace. And you could be upright here, generally seeing if you can feel some sense of stretch or pull. So if it's totally neutral feeling, you might change your position. But you could have an upright spine and you might feel a sense of stretch or pull around your hips and gluteal muscles. You could lean forward with this with a straight spine. I'm starting to feel stretch and pull on the back of this leg as I do that. You could also round down here. So these are some different possibilities if you want to go to half shoelace. And again, this will be an opportunity to stay for 2 minutes on one side and then 2 minutes on the other side. Full shoelace in a yin practice, you would then fold this leg back. So it's like Gomukhasana legs in a hatha practice, similar anyway. So you could go to this full shoelace, this knee, foot this way, the knee on the bottom, foot this way. And again, you could stay upright and you might feel, I definitely feel some stretching right here. You could lean forward with a straight spine or a rounded spine. Again, that's your choice in a yin practice. Arms could come forward. One other possibility, this is the leg, this leg is on top in case it's hard to see. You could take the arm on the same side as the leg that's on top and have that underneath as you hug your shoulders and lean forward here, or bring the backs of your hands together. And I think of this as more of an eagle, a sitting eagle position. It would still be called a full shoelace in a yin practice. So that would be another possibility. I'm going to put my timer on for 2 minutes here. You might see if you'd like to possibly be in half shoelace. Again, this would be half shoelace, full shoelace. If you want to lean forward, if you want to add in eagle arms, you can do this. And if you try all of those and none of those feel like a good fit, you might find some other position that you'd like to stay in for 2 minutes on one side and 2 minutes then on the other side. So I've got one leg on top this time around, and then next time around I'll put my other leg on top. Once again, as you come into the asana, you might slow your breathing a little. Maybe scan through your body, see if you can use your exhalations possibly to release around your neck and shoulders. Maybe softening and releasing along your back and sides and front. And maybe releasing around your hips and gluteal muscles and legs. Breathing. Noticing where in your body you're feeling this. And staying aware, if you can, of any little changes you might feel. Generally, as you stay mostly in stillness for a minute and a half or more with your muscles releasing, then that traction or pull will start to affect your connective tissues a little more. They respond more slowly. But after a minute and a half, they might start to regain a little bit of the length that they tend to lose in daily living and with stress. And that's been 2 minutes, so you might come out, find a little movement. I like to check which leg is on top so that I don't forget, because now we'll go to the second side. So this is my leg on top this first time around. You might find a little movement of your choice. It could be something like this. It might be a little circling one way and the other. And then if you like, maybe going to half shoelace now with the other leg on top, like this. You can sit upright or lean forward. You may find it's a very similar experience to the first side, or it could be quite different, because generally our bodies are not totally symmetrical. So you get to work with what you find, as you come into the second side. So it could be half shoelace with a forward fold. You could go to full shoelace from here. And again, you could stay upright, fold forward, round if you want to. If I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go into eagle arms with it. So if you're doing that, this is the leg on top. That's the arm that's going to go underneath, for me anyway. And then leaning forward, you could come here, or the backs of your hands together, or the fronts of your hands together. So I'm going to come out to go turn the timer on for 2 minutes, but you might find your position. And again, I'll find mine. Breathing, traveling your attention through your body again. You might see if there's anything you want to shift or adjust as you feel your way mostly into stillness. Once again, you could follow the movements of your breathing if you like, focusing on your breathing. Maybe feeling that sense of your whole torso expanding on the inhalations and releasing on the exhalations. Maybe seeing if you can soften and release your neck and shoulders. Maybe softening and releasing along your back and sides and front. And it's fine to use your muscles a little bit to intentionally move and adjust as your body kind of changes in orientation, the position you've chosen. But then maybe coming back into some stillness. Continuing to breathe and release. And then that's been 2 minutes. So as you feel ready to, you might come out, find some movement again. See if you feel like moving your legs or your upper body or a little of each. And I'm going to suggest next going to one more practice, 2 minutes on each side, this time a twist. So, some possibilities. You might twist from a sitting position. It could be something like this, twisting to one side or the other. It could be twisting from, this is in a yin practice, this is half butterfly, sole of your foot against your inner thigh. You might twist this way or this way here. And sometimes I'll use a yoga block to support the arm and back. So that would be a possibility. So you could do a sitting twist here or maybe a lying down twist. And lying down, one possible twist would be what in a yin practice is sometimes called twisted roots, where you start with both shoulders on the ground, your arms could be at the sides or down or up. And you might come up on one hip, bring your knees to the side. This knee could stay lifted, and I'll just get a yoga block here. So this knee could stay lifted with some support, bringing both shoulders back to the ground. This could be your twist, or your knees could be together. Some people like to wrap one leg around the other, or straighten out the bottom leg. So you might see if you feel like sitting up or lying down, and then which version of a twist you'd like to do from the position of your choice. And I'm just going to come over again and put the timer on. So this will be 2 minutes on each side. So I'm going to come to a twist like this. Now, whether you're sitting or standing in a twist, your face could be centered over the center of your chest, kind of the same plane as the center of your chest, or you could turn your head and then the rotation will come up into your neck as well. But you might keep it at a place where it's not like tensing up your neck a lot. So feeling how you'd like to position your head, how you want to position your arms and legs. At some point, you might explore breathing in and gently stretching your tailbone and head away from each other a bit. Lengthening your spine slightly, and then as you breathe out, seeing where your body might feel ready to release. So again, just if you like focusing on your breathing, you could explore lengthening on the inhalations and releasing on the exhalations if you like. Again, you might see if you can release your neck and shoulders, maybe softening and releasing along your back, sides and front of your torso. Maybe softening and releasing your hips and gluteal muscles and legs, even your ankles and feet. Maybe 1 or 2 more breaths here in this first twist. When you're ready to come out, especially if you're sitting, you might give some attention to noticing how your legs and upper body are positioned so that then you can take some movement and go to the other side. And really the same if you're lying down. You might slowly come out. After a 2-minute twist from lying down, it might be gentlest on your back to lift one knee rather than both knees. Lift one knee and then the other. Repositioning. And sometimes after a 2-minute twist, there might be a little stiffness or tenderness momentarily. It will go away. It should go away. So then finding some movement, and when you're ready, you might go to your twist on the second side. If you're lying down, again, it could be Coming up on the other hip, bringing your knees to the side. Maybe one knee stays lifted, maybe your knees come together, or you might wrap one leg around the other if you like that, or straighten out your bottom leg. And again, your face can be centered over the center of your chest, or you can turn your head and bring the twist all along your spine and up into your neck. And once you have the position you like, again, you might scan through your body, see if there's anything you want to shift or adjust, and then begin to come more and more into stillness. Possibly having some breaths where you inhale and reach your tailbone and head away from each other. And exhale, release into the twist a bit. If you're in a lying down, reclining twist like I am, you might feel this in your pectoral muscles also, in your chest. Maybe seeing if you can release, soften and release those muscles a bit. Remembering that sometimes it can be helpful to squeeze and release muscles or contract and release them as well. Feeling the movements of your breathing. In a twist, you could continue to explore that sense of lengthening on the inhalations and releasing on the exhalations. Or you might sometimes explore a sense of expanding your torso as you breathe in and releasing as you breathe out. It's been 2 minutes, so as you feel ready, again, you might maybe come out kind of slowly if you're lying down, maybe lifting one knee and then the other knee, coming back to center, and whether you're sitting or lying down, taking any movement you like here, maybe some movement for your legs. If you're lying down, you could go to something like this, be drawing some circles with your knees. And then, possibly, if you're lying down, you might roll to one side and come up to sitting. Here, I'll attempt to adjust my hair again. So I'm going to suggest now going into a back bend. And, whoops. Okay, let's try this. All right, hopefully you can still hear me. So you might come up and maybe find your way to a back bend. So this will be an opportunity to be in a back bend for 3 minutes if you want to. You can come out sooner if you'd rather. I'm going to suggest going to a back bend more for your low back first for 3 minutes, and then I'll go to a back bend more for the upper back for 2 minutes. And I'll offer other alternatives in case you don't want to do 2 back bends. So a couple of back bends for your low back, one possibility. I came up to sitting, now I'm going to lie back down for this. One possibility for your low back might be supported bridge, starting from here again, pushing your feet against the ground to lift your pelvis, put the block under your pelvis going this way. And it can be a good idea not to put it up under your lumbar spine, but really under the solid bones of your pelvis here. You could stay in a position like this, if this feels like what your body would prefer. You could try stretching out your legs, and then that traction or pull will come into your hip flexors and the fascia that run through here. That might feel like what you would like. Another possibility would be to have an inversion with your legs maybe more or less vertical or at a slant, but finding a position where you don't have to grip or hold your muscles to stay there. I often will take my legs at a bit of a slant just because I feel the back bend a little more here. But this might feel good to you. So that would be a possibility with a little more emphasis on your low back. Or you could go to Sphinx. So for your low back here, maybe a back bend like this, maybe up on your forearms. These are a couple versions of Sphinx. In a Yin practice, if you push up further onto your straight arms, you would take your arms out to the sides a little and brace so that you're not using the muscles of your arms to stay up. But you could come to something like this. And, if you do come up to this seal position, you might just make sure it doesn't feel too intense down here by your SI joint, because you want some stability, we want flexibility and stability in this joint. So if you come up further, you might also see if you can create a curve in your spine that you feel all the way up your spine, letting the curve kind of spread and be felt up by your shoulder blades. I am going to swivel around this way and face you. I'm going to put the timer on again here. Sorry, this will take just a moment. Okay. So another way you could do Sphinx would be with your feet up against a wall. And that's what I'll be doing here. So 3 minutes and a back bend of your choice. And again, you might slow your breathing, travel your attention through your body. See if there's anything you want to shift or adjust. And then begin to settle into stillness. You might see if you're in Sphinx like I am, you could have your head up or you could drop your chin here. See if you can release a little around your neck and shoulders, down your back, sides, and front, and around your hips and gluteal muscles, and down your legs. And then if you like, you might see if you can stay present with what you're feeling in your body. And I'm just going to read you a quotation here from Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron. It's one that I like for the niyama of tapas. When you open yourself to the continually changing, impermanent, dynamic nature of your own being and of reality, you increase your capacity to love and care about other people and your capacity to not be afraid. You're able to keep your eyes open, your heart open, and your mind open. And you notice when you get caught up in prejudice, bias, and aggression. You develop an enthusiasm for no longer watering those seeds from now until the day you die. And you begin to think of your life as offering endless opportunities to start to do things differently. Tapas, creating momentum for change. Breathing, centered in your body. Noticing what you're feeling in this present moment and the next. Been 3 minutes. So you're welcome to stay as you are if you like, or you could come out and find a little movement and then maybe choose one more asana from there. All right, so I'm going to suggest here the possibility of a second back bend, and I'll offer an alternative if you feel like you don't want another back bend. This one will also be for 3 minutes if you'd like to stay that long. So you may have just done with me a back bend that was a little more emphasizing your low back. If you'd like to do one now a little more for your upper back, one possibility would be the heart melting position, anahatasana, with your hips above your knees about hips width apart, and then taking your hands forward, dropping your chest towards the ground. So it could be like this, could be with your arms folded, could be with a little support under your forehead. I usually do this with my chin on the ground, but you can also do it with your forehead on the ground. And you know, if you're feeling stress in your neck, you might go to forehead on the ground. So what you're looking for here is a feeling of a back bend right around your shoulder blades. If you're doing anahatasana. The other one that tends to emphasize your upper back a little more is supported fish. And you can do supported fish with the block like this along your back, or like this. I usually will do it with my spine kind of going along the block this way. So with one block, I would do it like this. I would have the block here and then feel it. You know, I think it feels like it's about 4 or 5 inches above my waist. And I can feel it between my shoulder blades as I come back. Now, generally you might have a little extension, a little of this curve for your neck, but your neck should not feel like it's tense or uncomfortable. So you could put some support under your head. Your arms could be out to the sides or down. If it doesn't feel stressful, you could take your arms more like this or even this. So, and then your legs could be together. You can also go to butterfly legs or, you know, a different leg position if you want to. So creating a back bend that you feel mainly around your shoulder blades. One other way you could set up your blocks, my favorite way for supported fish, is having this one up a little higher, this one lower. And this can depend on all kinds of things, whether your back is going to be happy with this or not. If it feels like a stress or like you're pushing it, you can also have 2 blocks, one like this. So kind of a T shape here. And again, I would come up and kind of feel a little ways above, a few inches above my waist, and then feel where I feel like my head is supported. And generally in supported fish, you're also looking to feel some stretch and pull around your pectoral muscles here. So 3 minutes, you might go to anahatasana, the heart melting position, or if you like, go to supported fish. If you don't feel like another back bend, you could go to dragonfly for 3 minutes. Knees towards the ceiling, maybe leaning into it, maybe with a straight spine or a rounded spine. If you go to dragonfly and it starts to feel a strong pull in here, it could be a good idea to bring your legs closer together so you don't destabilize your knees. If you go to dragonfly for 3 minutes, or maybe some version of child, knees together or apart. Maybe something like this or this, or with your hands by your feet. So that was a number of possibilities for this last one. You could choose another back bend, or you could go to a flexing forward position. And I'm going to go here to supported fish. So you might take a moment to feel into the position you'd like here. Again, as I'm coming into supported fish, I'm creating the support under my head. So I have a little extension in my neck, but my head isn't just dangling in space. And I can feel some stretch and pull around my pectoral muscles. And, you know, if you are doing supported fish, you might see if you want your legs together or apart, or maybe butterfly legs with the soles of your feet together. When you have the position you'd like to stay in, once again, you might slow your breathing a little, possibly coming back to that feeling of letting your whole torso expand as you breathe in, release as you breathe out. Maybe sometimes exploring a feeling more of lengthening your spine as you breathe in and releasing as you breathe out. Again, you might see if you can soften and release around your neck and shoulders. If you're in supported fish or the heart melting position, you might see if you can release around your pectoral muscles and your chest. All down your back and sides and front. And breathing and releasing hips and gluteal muscles, legs, ankles, and feet. And your shoulders, arms, and hands as well. As much as you feel ready and able to, letting your attention continue to be centered in what you're feeling in your body as you breathe, and maybe as you continue to release here. Notice where your body's in contact with the ground or possibly with your yoga blocks. Noticing maybe where you feel a sense of traction or pull, and where you can continue to soften and release if you like. It's been a little over 3 minutes, so you might find some movement, slowly come out, and maybe come off the blocks if you were on blocks. And then if you like, if you'd like to go to a resting practice, you're welcome to rest a few minutes with me here. You could rest with your legs up a wall, or you could rest lying on your back or on your front, or sitting up if you want to. And so for anyone who would like to, I'll offer a short resting practice here. Again, you might take some moments to travel your attention through your body as you come into resting. See if there's anything you want to shift or adjust in your position. Maybe slowing your breathing a little. If you like, you could bring your attention to your feet and legs and see if there's anything you'd like to do to help your feet and legs feel able and ready to let go a bit and rest. It could be squeezing and releasing some muscles. Be shifting your position or having some movement and then stillness. For a few breaths, maybe then exploring any areas in your feet or legs that might feel like they're resting. And getting more deeply acquainted with the feeling of resting, noticing the qualities of any resting sensations that you might be feeling. Breathing at your own pace. Maybe a sense of inviting or even allowing resting sensations to spread from one area to another in your body. If you like, you could bring your attention to your torso, and with stillness or movement, see if there's anything you'd like to do to help your torso be able to let go and rest. You might see if you can release and rest your back, maybe along the sides of your torso and the front. Breathing, you might see if you can release and rest deep within your torso. Again, maybe noticing any areas in your torso that might feel like they're resting. Noticing how that feels. If you like, you might bring your attention then into your shoulders, arms, hands, and fingers. And with movement or stillness, see if you can help your shoulders to let go and rest, and your arms and hands and fingers. Breathing whenever you like. You might notice and explore any resting that you can feel in your hands and in your arms and shoulders. Still breathing at your own pace, maybe helping your neck to release and rest. You might see if you can soften and release along your scalp, maybe within your head. Breathing, and with movement or stillness, you might see if you can help your face also to soften and ease into resting. More breaths here. You might travel your attention through your head and your body, exploring, absorbing, maybe savoring any resting sensations you might feel just now. Maybe a sense of allowing them to soak into your whole body, to every molecule of your being. Notice if your body would appreciate further rest. You're welcome to continue resting here if you like. If you want to come out, maybe finding a little movement, and you might stretch a little. If you've been lying down, possibly rolling onto one side. And then just if you want to, in your own way, in your own time, you might come back to any sitting position of your choice. Possibly feeling your pelvis level to the ground, lengthening up along your spine. You might take some moments here breathing and just feeling the movement of each breath. Or if you want to, you could come back to something like this, breathing in. The exhalations, either palms together or palms facing downwards, and then noticing how that feels. Maybe taking a moment or two, if you like, to center yourself in some intention or some quality of being where you'd like to be centered. It could be in a sense of tapas, the niyama that is about continuing practice to create momentum for change. Could be in a sense of peace or calm or courage. Again, whatever you choose. And it might not come to you as a word, but maybe as a feeling or an image or in some other way. But if you like, for a few breaths, you might imagine your intention or quality of being of choice. Imagine that flowing all through your body, if you like. If you like, you could imagine it flowing in you and through you and out into the world all around you for the benefit of all beings. May we help each other cultivate kindness towards our bodies, clear thinking, open hearts, peace within us, and peace in the world. Thank you for sharing the practice, and I wish you peace. Namaste.